Welcome in, everybody. I hope you're having a great long weekend. It's Sunday morning, May 17th, 6:57 a.m. Yours truly's been up since 4:40, watching the deer out the back at 5 o'clock and getting visions in my dream of Lynette Hooker for a couple days now. I posted yesterday where I thought Lynette Hooker could be based on my remote viewing, but I didn't have it up on the map. And thank you to one of you all. Thank you so much. You know who you are, who sent me the location. We're going to go in today. I'm going to remote view right now for you to make sure that I have the location where I believe Lynette to be at this moment. And I'm pretty damn sure my remote viewing session that I recorded yesterday for you all is accurate, because after posting it, I had said to you that I believe there were tree stumps like out of the ground, the roots, like several trees sort of leaning over, and her body was, there was a hole in the ground already. But I do believe a rock was used to deepen the hole, because I got goosebumps. After I did that video, I've just gotten like two flashes, sort of partially asleep, of water like in a mud pit, kind of a feeling like she's really deep down. Like, I don't know how he was able to get so far down, other than in that particular location where, in my opinion, Brian Hooker carried her body. I believe he used a rock, and I believe she's pretty far down, but I want to verify that today. So we're going to do that. Also heard Ashley's newest reporting on the splash coming off the boat. Now, somebody reported to have heard the splash coming off the boat at around 9:30. I told you in my last remote viewing session that I saw Brian, and I told you more than once in more than one remote viewing session, I saw Brian going with Lynette's body over his shoulder, down from the soulmate, and putting her into their dinghy. I also told you last time that her body was floppy, and so the rigor had not set in yet. And as it turns out, rigor takes 2 to 4 hours to set. As you can see here, 2 to 4 about 2 hours after death. Okay. So the general rule 12 12 12, the time since death, onset starts at around 2 hours. Now, onset 2, peak rigor 6 to 12 hours, resolution 12 to 36. We don't really know, or need to know rather, more than 2 to 4 hours is what I had searched before. This one's saying 2 hours. Well, we know Ashley said that there are witnesses, and we heard in her interview that she did yesterday with the searcher, the rescue team, bless your souls, all the volunteers, that he also confirmed hearing that the group that he spoke to that heard the loud splash at about 9:30 also was in that group of people that saw the flare. Now, there seems to be a little bit of an uncertainty of the time the flare went, but the splash, I don't know yet what that splash is. I'm going to go into my remote viewing and see if I can get what that splash was about. But I have a feeling that, well, I'm guessing, and I don't believe that he threw Lynette's body in the water, because we would have found her. So I do not believe that to be Lynette in the splash, unless she went over and he retrieved her. I'm thinking when he was going, and we could see those flashlights of activity coming on the soulmate and leaving, I'm thinking when that flashlight was moving around, potentially, and he was putting Lynette's body into the dinghy. And like I said, when he was going down, she was floppy. So if the flare light was seen at around 8, when I felt, right, let's just say 8, even if it went to 9:30, right? If the splash was when Brian was taking her off soulmate, and maybe her dry bag, something fell into the water when he was removing her from soulmate and bringing her onto the dinghy, perhaps something fell in the water. Now, I did say I felt they would find her glasses, but that wouldn't leave a very loud splash. So I'm going to go in and see if I can figure that splash out. But the timing, whether it was 8 o'clock that flare went off sideways, or whether it was closer to 9 and 9:30 when the splash was heard, I guess what they're going to get off that boat and the slew of evidence they've collected, thank gosh for Ashley Banfield in this case, because I really think she is deserving of a huge amount of accolades for this case, because it looks like I was wrong and it is going to be resolved. And hopefully TikTok arrests coming, as Ashley would say. Her body, regardless of whether it was 8 or closer to 9:30 that the flare went off and that unaliving that I felt happened, she was still not in rigor, which would have been 2 hours later. Because I see, and I said, her body is floppy, loose, moving down, and not far after the unaliving took place. And it would have been, as it was reported, quiet on the water. Most people would have been going to bed when he would decidedly just take her body and remove it. Just my opinion. I told you all that they got back to the soulmate before the video evidence proved it. And even though Ashley doesn't believe that there was a push from Lynette off the dinghy, I already reported on that. And I believe it was accidental, but he did push her and she did fall off that dinghy, because I had the vision of her walking along the opposite side there at Pat's Bay from Lubbers, along to where their boat was in the bay. I saw that vision very clearly, and it was getting dark. I've showed you. If you haven't seen my other videos, go back and watch them all. Oh, and if you're new here, thank you for subscribing. For those of you that have been here all along, and for those of you that joined along the way, I really, really appreciate you all. I really couldn't do this without you. And God willing, I just want to answer this, because some of you have also posted about reporting it, if I should and will I report it. And I have to say, the only police officers that I have worked with who took me seriously were the RCMP with Jack and Lily. So will I report it? I find it incredibly challenging on my body and my nervous system. To remote view is very challenging. I've been told to slow down on my remote viewing because it's, I'm healing and I have to really preserve my own emotional well-being and physical well-being. And remote viewing, when you're seeing things unravel, and like in Nancy's case, with the mask and her being frightened, it does affect my physiology and physically my body. And putting forward my results to the FBI, and in Nancy Guthrie's case, getting, probably dismissed, it's really emotionally tolling on me. So I have said before on this channel, but for those of you that are new, I'm going to say it again. Other than the RCMP with Jack and Lily, I've had a very, very hard time getting any police agencies to take anything I say seriously. So I've just lowered my expectations, because it's a lot of pressure on me to expect the police to listen to me. It's energy that I choose to not engage in anymore. And I'm going to trust that if what I find reaches people that take it seriously, whoever that may be, and the dogs in this case with Lynette maybe go out to that island, to that point, which we'll go into again now, and if she's found and I'm right, then God wanted it that way. That's how I'm just learning to detach from the responsibility that weighs heavy on me, otherwise too heavily on me. So I do what I can. I'm putting it out to the universe. And if God wants it to happen that way, and somebody important believes it and sees it and goes and looks for Lynette there, then I've done my job. And that's what my guidance has been for my own well-being, so that I can keep doing what I'm doing. Like in the case of Nancy Guthrie, I did my report. I've submitted my report. If the FBI want to ignore me because I'm just some dumb fucking psychic, what can I do about it? There's nothing I can do about it. So to try to continue to beat my head against the wall is just too effing emotionally draining and exhausting. So there we go. I'm going to move on now. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to do another remote viewing rather, healing. I don't know why I said that. That's weird. Weird. Why did that come out? Remote viewing of Lynette to confirm the location. And then we're going to go to the map that somebody sent me of that lost, debilitated old marina. That's just not lost, but sort of lost on the landscape, no longer really part of the map because it's not a destination point anymore, because it's been abandoned due to the damage from the storms over the years. But let me go in and see. I want to validate that location and pull up the map that I was sent and get it in a specific spot where I believe Lynette to be. So I'm going to go into my remote viewing and come back and tell you what I see in a second here. Okay. So in this session, I see him taking her body on the pier where I believe to be at the same location. And then he takes her in towards the trees and towards the water, I believe. Like I'm wondering, because she's close to the water, because I can see when I ask for a resting place, I can see the water, I can hear birds. And when he was walking and I had my first remote viewing session, it's like there's almost like this natural in the topography runoff, if you will, like little creek river. So I could see him walking when the first time I saw him up to like water, like up to his ankles. I'm like, what's he doing? So, but I see him taking her to this place that I believe she's at, which I'm going to pull up the map here. Let me get the map for you. Okay. Okay. Here is Snapper Point, the rundown marina. I'm going to zoom out so you can see where it is. So, the Abaco Beach Resort is down here. And Marsh Harbor is right here. And Brian, I guess, floated in around here by the harbor, by the marina. But I believe he went into Snapper Point Marina right here. And this is the picture Ashley showed us of where Lynette and Carly and he had visited this old abandoned property, the marina that was a resort as well. And I see him walking her body on the, like along the pier, right? And walking up to this old building, and he goes left towards the trees over here, close to water, like this natural. I'm wondering if this is the walkway right here, close to the water. I'm going to zero in with my hands here and see if I can get, because look at how low lying this is right here. Oh, let me see if I can get my hands to, I'm going to small size myself to confirm. But I see him walking on, putting his dinghy on one of these piers here, walking up with Lynette. There's the pool that's abandoned, but it's this house that he walks up this pathway on, and he goes left. I'm not sure. I think it might be here. The first path he goes left on, but it could be this one, because I feel like he's closer to the water. I feel like if he goes left here, he ends up here, because I see him in this remote viewing session. I see him placing her body down, and then I see this big rope, like he's trying to make sure she doesn't float away, because there is a little bit of water coming in there, maybe at high tide, to a tree. Oh, goosebumps. And then he goes back to that abandoned house. Let me put that up. Then he goes back to here. Let me zoom it in. He goes back here where the dot is, the red dot, to this old abandoned property right here, and he grabs something. There's something like a piece of wood, a piece of that building that he uses as well to help dig a hole here. And I have to just FYI, forewarning, I'm going to warn you about what I see next. And holy crap. I really hope that this is wrong. I really hope that I'm wrong. And I don't know why I would see this in my remote viewing, and I'm not really clear on why Brian Hooker would do this to Lynette when she's already deceased. But this is what I see. In this remote viewing session, I simply see him carrying her, going left, dropping her body with a rope around it, like wrapping it around a big clump of trees so it doesn't float away, going back to that building, grabbing something to help himself. And then the next view I see, I don't even want to say it because it's very, very alarming. And I have no fucking clue other than the fact that this man is pure fucking evil, because I see him pick up a big massive rock and smash an already deceased Lynette's face with it. Yeah. Very, very sick. So I'm not really sure what that bullshit is about, but may he rest forever behind bars. Okay, now see, this is really, I'm focusing on here, and I'm gonna see. I don't know, God willing, I don't think we can get close enough in. This is as close as I can get. But I really think she's in this clump of trees here. I'm gonna see if I can zero in with my hands. I think she's in this clump of trees right here. I do. And it's close to water. And in high tide, I see him, like I said, walking through water up to his ankles. So I'm wondering if he took this road in, and then she's in to the left here. But she's definitely, I believe, in here somewhere. Let me see if I can use my hand, excuse me, and pull up an exact location for you. And someday you'll have a way of being able to see my hands on the screen, because right now I don't have a way to show you that. But let me activate my hands and see if I can get a really good location here. An active, like, oh, my hands are really lighting up here. Hold on, y'all. I'm just trying to get so what I'm doing, hang on, I'll explain in 1 second. What I'm doing is I have my Reiki level 7 practitioner. So my hands, when I activate them, act like energy comes into my hands, and they act as a dowsing rod, and I can feel the pull. And when I try to move my hand up, I can feel the resistance. And that's how I'm able to narrow in on the location. Let me continue to do that and then come back to you here. Okay, y'all, I think I found it. It's this little clump right here, right above my head. There's this little clump of trees right here. Let me zoom out. Let me zoom out. Okay, so he goes up to this house, like I said. Here, he goes left on this path. I thought he came in here. It's this clump of trees right here. Right here. right there. That's where I believe Lynette is, right in there. There's a bunch of trees. There's low-lying water that comes in here for some reason, and like maybe at high tide, and there looks like there's trees that where the roots came up in the storm, and you can see like there's several trees that like a row of trees. Oh, goosebumps. Like short trees, like shrubby trees that are like had blown over, like a clump of them. And let me get the right one up. And I really believe, God willing, if I'm right, that somebody searches here with the canines and they find her, because I really, really am feeling the energy. I tried to go into the right here, this bigger clump in here, but my hands are getting pulled here, right in here, which makes sense because originally I said he came up to this house here and took this path here, left, but then I felt like he moved towards the point, but he does move a little bit towards the point right here, right there. Oh, God willing, she's pretty deep. I did not ask about the splash. Let me go in now and ask about the splash and see if I get anything about the splash. Okay, everybody, I have to say I'm not able to confirm the splash at this time, but I really do believe that where I've got this marker here, up here, is right there, where Lynette's body may very well be found. Thank you, everybody, and thank you. Thank you so much to Sue for sending me the map. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you, and I want to just say a few other things about what I'm going to do next. I'm going to do a couple more Nancy Guthrie remote viewing sessions. Well, not remote viewing, rather. I'm going to do another couple of videos for Nancy Guthrie, a Q&A for all your questions, and then we're going to go back to that map and see what I pick up. I'm going to move on from Nancy Guthrie after that, unless there's new information. And I'm going to go back to Jack and Lily and Sebastian Rogers with my remote viewing now, because at the time I was working those cases, especially Sebastian. And there's bluebirds out, which are really rare here. There's been a few of them visiting. And deer, lots of deer in my backyard. Anyway, I'm going to go back to Sebastian Rogers, Jack and Lily. And I also, now that there's like 16, 17 UFO related scientists missing, I'm going to do those. I want to do a series for each of the missing people remote viewing and see what I can get. That'll be coming up. And again, a couple more of Nancy Guthrie videos, but I'm going to call it after that unless something new comes up on Nancy Guthrie. And we're going to go to the UFOs and missing scientists, UFO related, if you will. And I'm going to go back to Sebastian Rogers because I was in a lot of PTSD trauma at the time and I wasn't getting clear messages. And Jack and Lily, some of you have asked me to go back and cover Jack and Lily. Last year, I was going to go because I could drive, and I have a girlfriend in Truro. She's got some stuff going on right now. I just spoke with her on the phone, so I wouldn't be able to stay with her. But if y'all are interested in Jack and Lily and I can raise the funds to drive there for the gas and stay a couple days, I would love to be boots on the ground. And then I'm going to reach out, if that's the case, to the RCMP agent that I worked with closely on Jack and Lily and get permission to go on the ground. Although I was threatened several times by the family believed to be Daniel. I'm a little bit nervous about that. So we'll have to see how that goes. But that's what I'm planning on doing for the next little bit. So thank you all for being here. Do all the YouTube things. I appreciate you all. Love and light. Have a great rest of your weekend.